All right, good. We live. Morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Experts brought to you today by Rev Trio. Um, this is where we break down all the greatest NFL analysis. We got the Thursday night game. We got to recap a little, and then we get you all into our Sunday picks. Um, I'm your boy CJ, the X Factor. Today with my co-host Sanzo Matic and Kraylin G.
Great.
uh, and we come to you
Loving
today to
that.
bring you the NFL picks for Sunday, Week 7. How you guys feeling today? Let us know what's going on, and then we could jump into the Thursday night recap before I do my normal magic for the Sunday picks.
The Sunday market. Talking about great. Uh, it's some interesting games this week. Nah, man. Interesting games coming up this week. Uh, should be some interesting picks. Uh, yeah, I'm excited to hear what y'all got to say about some of these matchups. But yeah, how y'all felt about that Thursday night game?
Uh, I mean, there's really only one thing to talk about, one person to talk about, and that's um, Dearness Johnson. I I
That's the
didn't
only
ex-
person to talk about.
I didn't expect him. I mean, granted, I picked him up in fantasy. I didn't expect
Talk
the
foolishness, eh?
I didn't
You
expect the
you didn't
performance.
expect him to go off if no Baker Mayfield, no
Mm-hmm.
Nick Chubb, no Kareem Hunt,
Cool. But
Odell
see,
Beckham injured, and
right.
Jarvis Landry injured.
Oh,
So who you thought was gonna score the ball?
Odell still played, and
Yeah, but
when
he
I
ain't been
say
good all season.
But when I say go off, I mean I expected a touchdown, 80 yards, dude going for 140, and he was unstoppable. I didn't expect him to dominate the way he did. Is what I'm saying.
I mean, you do realize the Browns is built for the run, right? That's why
Yeah, that's
Odell and
strongest part.
Jarvis don't succeed in this team, and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt does because no matter what, their game plan is run the ball. So from I see he was starting, I pick him up. Dog give me 24 easy points. I tell fella, I say, if they ain't do nothing else, they can run the ball. That's
Yeah,
one thing they can do.
So you didn't expect Dearness Johnson to go off. That means you sounded you expected Cleveland to lose it.
To Denver?
I I did. I did expect him to
Wow.
lose to
Sick.
Denver. I
Sick.
did without any offensive weapon. The only offensive weapon there is a injured Odell. I
And
Injured
didn't
Odell.
think that they
who's
would pull it
Denver
out.
offensive weapon?
I was focusing more on Denver defense.
Yeah, defense went Gary. All right then. Well, yeah.
But yeah, the Ernest is really unstoppable. I mean, even and excluding the touchdown and the yards, just anytime he needed a first down, he was able to produce with ease. Like it just seemed as though they had no answer for him, and that was surprising for me. So
Yeah, the run game definitely is on. Um, Run game definitely is on, and that's I guess, one of the more impressive wins for Cleveland if they could win banged up like that, considering they got a tough schedule to start so far. You know what I mean? I felt like that was a must win for them, to be honest. I felt like they had a lot of games where, uh, like we talked about before, they lose to a lot of really, really good teams. Um, it's good to win a game when you could sort of find contributions from other guys who aren't your real main guys like Chubb and those boys.
and he was and they was 0-3 before that game, right? It was on a 3-game losing streak, I think.
Oh,
The
Cleveland.
Browns.
actually, both of them was on 3 game losing streak. I mean, I ain't sure about the Browns, but I know Denver for sure because Denver start
Broncos
off
was
3
on
and 0
three
and
games.
they ain't
Yeah,
win since.
yeah.
Yeah,
Broncos on
yeah.
three games.
I told you about them 3 and 0 teams.
Same with
Broncos
Flukes.
on
same with same with same with Panthers, eh?
Flukes.
0-3.
on the start of
Sam
3-0.
Sam Donald still top 5.
Behave yourself.
How many
Behave
yards?
yourself. I never say
that
he's top five. I
was a
say he's clear
that's
like a
just a
top five.
that was just a question.
Behave yourself. Uh,
uh,
All right,
Boy.
so yeah, so let's get in these Sunday games then. Um, some exciting games. Let me pull up the list.
You cheat me
Let me look.
last week a good win because while I was watching them games last week, I was like, I probably get like two wrong again.
Well, I forget. I ain't gonna
How
lie.
you
I
how
think that's to rattle
There
off a
were some
couple.
good games last week.
how you know we would have got any wrong?
Who
Yeah,
y'all?
that's to rattle off a couple.
Please.
I
Rattle
thought
off is correct.
after I see some of them, I said, "Boy, they had to go on a streak this Sunday, boy. On a set.
uh,
I was there on a streak. Like we
yeah.
got some good games though. We really do got some good
Yeah, we do
games.
got some good games.
Um, yeah, we really got some good games. We really, I got the first game I gonna call. I think that I should have been a game of the week. So I probably really have to give it a bit. That's KC and Tennessee. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's start off with shoot, this might could be a game of the week kind of too. Cincinnati and Baltimore. Let's start with Cincinnati and Baltimore. Uh, what y'all most looking forward to in this game? I looking to see how Joe Burrow plays against this Ravens defense. Um, this Ravens defense been tough for the first 6 games, um, and Burrow been impressive. So I guess this is going to be a stiff test for him.
Only thing I'm looking at this game for is consistency. Um,
From who?
to me, the Baltimore Ravens, as much as people like the hype, like I say, I don't go with the hype. I know the longevity of football. They're on a streak right now, but so were the Denver Broncos, so were the Panthers, so were other teams at the beginning of the season. My thing is, like I said, I need consistency. Lamar Jackson is playing good, but how long can he hold up that uh, level of play? It's a long season. We only in week 7. You got 7. You got 10 more games to go. So it's like I need to see who can come out of this consistently. Keep in mind this is a divisional matchup, and on the other side of the ball, same thing with Cincinnati. I need Cincinnati to show that you that team. You can't be coming out here beating big teams one week, then losing the regular teams the next week. You got to show that you that team to win that division. That division is wide open. I think that's the same division with the Steelers. Well, obviously we know they trash, which y'all didn't thought they was. Uh, they are who I thought they were. Uh, and then
He's gonna slip
the
that in
Browns are
there every
there
chance he
at
get.
3-4. So if the Browns are there at 3-4, everybody had the Browns to win this division. The Browns are there at 3-4. The Steelers basically out,
The
and
country.
then you got these two teams who will be fighting for the division championship as well with the Browns. So this is a key game towards who wins this division.
So,
So
but you don't think Lamar Jackson uh creeping towards consistency? I mean, we in week 7, but you
Yeah,
see how much Lamar
Lamar
played for him.
Jackson is, but how this is the ultimate team sport is Baltimore. You could be look at Patrick Mahomes. I tell fellas, everybody want to play Mahomes probably because he gets all the praise when they win. But to be honest with you, Mahomes' numbers ain't really bottom of the pack or even middle of the pack. Mahomes' numbers still top 10. It's that defense would really costing them lose. So it's the team would really making Lamar look okay. But if they was 7-0, 6-0 right now, Lamar would have been a runaway candidate with the MVP, almost like how Kyler is in Arizona.
I think the race still is very, very close with all Lamar been playing. Um,
Not not if he lose today.
but it's a tough game today. Honestly, this is a tough game today. Like I say, Burrow been playing at a high level, and Mixon he good for shoots
I have Mixon
at
in
least
fantasy too. I can need
at
him.
least 5 yards per carry every game, almost look like.
I need two
Um,
touchdowns over there.
As crazy as it sounds, I feel like this Ravens team is getting better though. I feel like their running backs are finally catching on because they ain't really had a big game
they
I think they
recently
are
uh,
getting
they
better.
recently get
until
Bateman back, right? Recently
until
get
last
Bateman
week.
back.
They ain't had a good game until last week. What's his name? Freeman and Murray. So I feel like they catching on. The defense looking way better than it did
Defense
in
is
the first
looking good.
couple of games.
Defense
So I
is
feel like
looking
this
really
team
good.
is one of those teams that's getting better as the season progresses. And I think at close to playoffs, they're gonna be looking like a team you don't want to face in the playoffs. I have them beating the Bengals, an inconsistent team that I do not expect to see consistency from no time soon. I got the Ravens pulling out this one.
It's a tough one for me, but I think I could go with boy, it's a tough one. I think I go with the Ravens on this one. I think I go with the Ravens.
Um, well, let me see if I could look at this a little closer. Um, Based on, I don't know, this is a tough one, but analytics is leaning towards the Ravens.
You quoting analytics, different.
But he's sick.
When you in a much evenly matchup game, it's easy to go analytic because it's very easy. I guess I'll go with Baltimore too,
I feel
just
like
off the
Lamar
fact.
Jackson. Go
Huh?
ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, just saying like just off the fact like they in Baltimore, and even though this Bengals team is playing good, I don't think they got the killer yet. Like Joe Burrow playing nice, and he probably gonna have a good game. But for you to go into your divisional rival city, go into their stadium and mash them down, if the Bengals do win, this is a wake up call for this division. All their record right now is 4-2. If they beat
Yeah, this
Baltimore, they would have the same record as Baltimore because both of them would be 5-2. That means Cincinnati would have the tiebreaker and lead in the division. And then you just went into Baltimore and beat them. You got to wash up Steelers team. You probably got to play more of the season, which you could handle. Then you got a Cleveland team that is injured that you could handle. If they let the Bengals come in and beat them today, the Bengals has a good chance, probably great chance of winning this division. So Baltimore
yeah,
have to realize that hey, in order to keep a stranglehold on this division and keep a two-game lead in this division, this a must win today for Baltimore if they want to win this division and secure a playoff spot in the next upcoming weeks.
yeah. I expect both teams to really, really want this game, just like you said. It is a statement game on both sides, so we should be in for a very entertaining one, and hopefully it lives up to the hype. Okay, what we got next? We got at 1 p.m. Our one was at 1 p.m. too, so we got another 1 p.m. game. Washington and Green Bay. What do y'all expect to see out of that
Washington and
game?
Green Bay again. Damn play already.
And
To my knowledge, I don't think so. No.
I'm sure I guess I don't. And in my head, I must have done predict this then. So I gain if I can remember correctly off of my foresight, I
For
gain
your vision.
off of my
okay,
vision,
what's it?
I got Aaron Rodgers them marching these fellas down. Um, People don't realize that even in the absence of a number two wide receiver, you still can't stop Devontae Adams. I don't know why. I mean, I guess he's now becoming that guy. When I say that guy, I mean like top three, like top five, because I watch their game plan and I be like, this. There's no clear cut number two, and Aaron Rodgers ain't even looking for a clear cut number two. Like he'll come out of the snap, look right, eyeball right, pump fake right, throw right, three guys on this way, and he still come down with the catch. I just be like, anyway, I don't know what's going on over there, but it is what it is. Obviously, Devontae Adams is that guy. Washington's on a two-game losing streak. Obviously, Green Bay is on a five-game winning streak. They in Lambeau Field. The crowd is going to be going crazy. This is an easy pick for me. I going with obviously Green Bay, and even though they're on a 5 game winning streak, people don't realize that they got better because in addition to what they already had, they added two linebackers along the way. They added the linebacker that got cut from the Cowboys in a surprise move 2 weeks ago. And then I think they recently added another linebacker who was released last week. So they making sure pack that defense up to make sure that the Aaron Rodgers don't have no excuse at the end of the season this year to say that his team let him down. So
One thing
they had
what
a,
you use it slips up, man.
I
You
mean,
just
every
slip
year
under
it's
the
the
door.
same thing.
That is
Past
it.
10 years, we've been hearing the same story. But in his words, he feels like this year reminds him of 2010. Okay, okay.
I mean,
Let's
of
see if
course
you can make that 2010 magic coming out of this
he could
strong NFC.
he could be on a high. Of course, he could be on a high. Stay on a 5 game win streak. Since the first week, Aaron Rodgers has been playing like Aaron Rodgers MVP candidate. Um, you know, precision. I think he had 12 touchdowns since the first week. 12 touchdowns. Um, yeah, the Devontae Adams thing. I don't see Washington having an answer for him. Adams, leads the league in receiving yards this season, and Washington's defense has not been nearly as good as advertised, nearly as good as people expect them
Not
to
this
be.
year.
I ain't looking at it now.
Um,
Signs they worst ranked number 32.
Yeah, they've
yeah,
been getting torched this year,
they've been
but
getting torched, and that
they haven't built a good team this year. From you sign Fitzpatrick in all season, you ain't trying to win.
Oh my god, you talking about that defense? How you
you
get
know what
there?
they defense.
Yeah,
Get there.
you could have get better defensive pieces. You had Heineken all this time, and
uh,
you probably could have bring in Cam Newton for a veterans minimum, but you won't go there and sign Fitzpatrick and waste money, and you ain't get nothing on your defensive end. Come on, man. Oh, and it was Whitley Merciless who signed with the Packers last week. So that was one of the leading tacklers for Houston. He left Houston, signed with the Packers, and then I think that was Jalen Smith who left the Cowboys and signed with the Packers. So that linebacking core is outstanding, along with a good front line. They have one of the best defensive tackles in the game. And then they just got to hold up for him in the secondary, even though they have one of the best cornerbacks in the league. So that team could come around. It's good. I want to see what happens at the end of the season because if Aaron Rodgers stays, then it is what it is. But if he goes, I don't think they keep a lot of these big pieces. I think they'll have to go into all. I talking about fire sale rebuilding mode in Green Bay, not like how with the Patriots. Okay, Tom Brady left. Okay, you get draft a rookie, and then you keep the defense together, and then you are two good tight ends, and you just missing wide receivers. Like I feel like if Aaron Rodgers leave, Devontae Adams leave, um, with the star cornerback name, I can't remember. I know they have King, but it ain't King. It's Alexander, whatever. Yeah, Alexander. I feel like he leaves, and I just think that Green Bay is in a it isn't a place where people as free agents come to play. The only reason people come to Green Bay is because of Aaron Rodgers.
yep.
It's not like okay, that's a destination for us. So if he leaves, I feel like they can be in the toilet. To be honest,
I
for
mean, they
years to
will
come.
be. They will be in the toilet. You ain't gonna never. And I think that's what we talked about this earlier in the year, and this is the reason why Aaron Rodgers was so disgruntled with the front office when you take a chance on drafting a quarterback when you already have a franchise changing talent right here, right? So uh, at the end of the day, when Aaron Rodgers leaves, there's not going to be another Aaron Rodgers. Whatever you may think of him in terms of his postseason failure, he is still an all-time great, and you're replacing that with most likely an average quarterback, more than likely. You know, sometimes franchises don't luck up. You know, 2 times in a row. You understand? So while he's here, you got to take advantage of his prime, and you got to do whatever it is to make him happy. Um, but yeah, I got Green Bay running away with this one. I just don't see if Washington is able to stop Devontae Adams.
Yeah, given their very disappointing defense, I don't see them stopping the Packers' high-powered offense this week. Like you said, the Packers have to lose in their first game, where it's expected that they draw the first game. So I mean, if you take that into consideration, they really are kind of undefeated. I don't see
Oh, stop.
a 32 ranked team, a 32 ranked defense stopping this team. I got the Packers in this week,
I wouldn't say they undefeated, but yes, it was a very uncharacteristic first game.
and then
Very
you lose no
uncharacteristic.
more.
And then you lose them. Now they ain't, and to be fair, they ain't run away with the rest of their games. Now some of them,
You know, some of them
still
they
go dicks, and you know what I
yeah.
mean. But still, you still got to win the games, and it was impressive them winning it. So, so everybody here got the Packers. That's expected. All right, moving on. We got it's a tough game for me to pick because it's a lot of emotional attachment for me in this game. Uh, Another 1 p.m. matchup. We got the Panthers and we got the Giants.
Oh, that's a toilet ball game.
So is Christian McCaffrey back yet? He back yet?
No,
I don't
No.
think so.
I mean
Wow.
this is an easy game for me. Um, I don't see the even though both of these teams are losing streaks, I don't see the Giants winning no time soon with Saquon Barkley out. Daniel Jones, he's back, but he's still not 100. That's number one. And then number two, when you don't have a strong running game and you gotta drop back and put the ball in guys like Daniel Jones 50 times, that's the difference. He is no Dak, even though Dak lost week one when he threw the ball 60 times. He's no Tom Brady. He's no Aaron Rodgers. He's definitely not. That's tier one. He ain't even tier two. He ain't even there. So it's like if you gotta put the ball in the hands of Daniel Jones without rushing offense or a play action that could even draw linebackers down, I see it very hard for them winning, even though they play in a trash team. I just see them. I don't know. This is tough in a way because the Giants are at home. But just because you home don't means you will win. So
Don't forget the rookie receiver been playing really well for them now. Tony, he's been
who?
playing really well for them
For who?
over the last 2 weeks. What's his name? Darius Tony,
For who?
the Giants. So he's added at least a threat to their offense.
What do you name Tony?
Darius Tony, that's his name. I saying it right?
Because I see a Tony here who out today with an ankle injury. So I know
Oh,
you
shoot,
ain't talking about him.
he out.
Galladay out, Tony out, and Saquon Barkley out.
Shoot, Tony out too. Jesus
Shepard
Christ.
in Shepard of a hamstring, and Ross of a hamstring,
Yeah, look at him. He's already
and
go
Slayton of a hamstring. And you think I ain't pick that team? But if they win, that means the Panthers just super trash, and at the they ain't even in the toilet bowl no more. They get flush and they in the sewer now. But I have to go with the Panthers in this matchup because the Giants just is too much injuries, too much big name injuries on a team that wasn't even that good in the first place. So you wasn't that good in the first place. Now you have injuries to your star players and your upcoming rookie players. I can't pick you in this game. The Panthers are on a three-game losing streak, but I feel like they could break that. If it was a game to break that losing streak, it would be this game
Yeah,
going into New York. So I give my pick to the Panthers today.
Yeah, yeah. I pick on the Panthers. It could be tough. Like you said, they're on a 3 game win streak, and Sam Donald ain't been the same since McCaffrey went down. Um, I expect them to lean on the running game today. They got Chubbard, their rookie running back. I expect him to get a lot of touches today, and I expect Sam Donald to have a bounce back game. It ain't really gonna look like his first 3 games. But like you say, the defense don't really have to work too hard as well, considering that a lot of options out for the Giants. So I think the Panthers. will pull off this one.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna look as good as their first three games. Uh, I think the ship is already sailed and thinking that Sam Donald is something different than would be expected. But this is a game for them to lose. The Panthers I'm talking about. So I don't see them top 10 defense still in the league. I don't see them losing to Donnie Jones alone without Saquon, without top tier receivers. I got the Panthers in this one.
Kind of straight across the board. Okay, this next
Try
game,
to
I know we
keep
got some
track of y'all
disagreement.
picks. I don't have no slopping up. And Tuesday
We,
go.
we have a difference of opinion in this game for sure. Uh, we have the New York Jets at New England to play the Patriots. Uh,
This is easy game.
what's your thoughts on this game?
No, like I said, this is an easy game.
For me, the difference is the defense. Wilson is a up and coming quarterback. Jones is up and coming quarterback. I mean, I like not even just the defense, the system, the structure. The There's a big difference. It ain't just about the defense. Even though Potts defense could swallow the Jets in any given Sunday, I think even though the quarterbacks are evenly talented, one is has a better structure than the other. And you know how I go with structure and I go with system. That gives you a huge competitive advantage. I don't see the Jets coming out this one alive. I got the Pats in this one.
It's a powerful statement. That's a powerful statement. Yeah, you know what I agree with. I agree with Moment. I got
Yeah,
Moment Moss
he trash.
pulling this one out. Um, uh, the first time they played, I think he had like what 4 interceptions when they played in week 2.
Trash, trash.
Um, so I don't think history is going to repeat itself. The Patriots in general are a team that has a low interception rate. So I feel as if the offense is going to get off to a better start. The key is not getting killed in the first quarter like they usually do, and I think they'll find a way to pull it off. So I got my New York Jets in this one.
And like
Good
I
thought
said,
they both game by the way.
this is an easy pick for me. No game the Patriot plays is a toilet bowl pick because every game, whether they playing a lousy team or a good team, every game has been close. One thing I can say about my team is fight. Um, we played this team week 2, beat them 25-6. These guys kicked 2 field goals. Shameful. At home. They was home. Now you coming into New England in a different environment. Mark Jones is now getting the jitters out. Mark Jones has been. The Patriots are playing some big teams this season against the Buccaneers, who came in there with Tom Brady. Mark Jones standing there and going head to head with Tom Brady. He actually led a fourth quarter drive to put them up. And if it wasn't for the defense allowing the Buccaneers to come back down and kick a field goal, Matt Jones would be a friggin' hero right now in New England. And then last week, we played the Cowboys, one of the top 2 offenses in the league. And dog standing there again with a top defense who has someone who was on an interception streak, and the defense is holding up. And he carried them into overtime and only lost because the defense again let up a late drive. But even though the defenses are letting us down in those games are also games against top teams. So in that case, it'd be like okay. But when it comes to the Jets, where you leading any team down any field, Tom, what you coming in? Well, you got to be kidding. But looking at this injury report, Jesus, the Patriots have about 15 guys on injury report. But knowing my good coach, this is just a distraction because I see the kicker here. Obviously, the kicker can play. You have a few guys here who got little rib and knee, finger injuries, all this crap. He likes to load up the injury report just to throw other teams off. But most of these guys are going to play. Only 2 guys I see are definitely out. is cornerback Jones, who I think they put back on um, injured reserve, and then you have I think there's a rookie Wade. He's in concussion protocol. They're the only two definitely out. But for everybody else, I think the Patriots are starting to get healthy again. The defense is starting to come around and gel. Even though we get rid of Gilmore, one thing I like with my team, we don't hinge on one player or a couple players. Even with Tom Brady gone, you could see Mark Jones hasn't had that. That's why I think they let Cam Newton go. He hasn't had to look over his shoulder. He hasn't had to second guess himself or should I make the conservative play because if I throw this interception, Cam Newton can come running on the field or this and that. He could go there and sling it. Uh, as far as he's concerned, who else we could put in there? So I could do what I want. But I see this as a win game for the Patriots. We are now 2-4. The Jets are 1-4. Um, I think the Patriots needs to win this to get up to 3-4 in order to at least have a fighting chance at a wild card at the end of the season. And looking at our schedule, once we pass the Jets, we have about one more big game, which is next week against the Chargers, which I feel if our defense hold up, we have a good chance in that game. But after that, we got the Panthers, we got the Banger Browns, we got the Trash Falcons. Like we have a good stretch of teams where we could put some wins together and get about 500. So to me, today is a must win. If it's one thing you can do, is lose that trash team at home. If you're trying to get back to the playoffs or at least get about 500.
You know, they say if you lose to a trash team at home, you may be trash as well. So
Yeah,
we'll see
that
what
is true.
happens. We'll see what happens with that. That should be a interesting game, strictly based off the pull inside this group. So our next one we have is another toilet bowl one too. Another 1 p.m. boy. We got the Falcons and we got the Dolphins. What's your pick in this game?
Oh boy, two toilet bowl teams. But to be honest with you, um, from what I've seen recently from the Falcons, it looked like Matt Ryan doing what he always does, which I've been telling people from day one. Matt Ryan, once he finds someone, he can go to that place. It's almost like what I said earlier with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Matt Ryan comes out of the huddle looking at Kyle Pitts. He snaps the ball, eyeballing Kyle Pitts. Wherever Kyle Pitts go, that man is thrown to Kyle Pitts. And that has been his formula for years. And this is why Julio was always considered the top wide receiver. It's because Matt Ryan can force that ball into Julio regardless. Now you see Julio in Tennessee, where Tannehill trying to spread the ball around. That ain't Julio game. Julio ain't into that. But
Julio can't
I
even stay on the field. And
Agreed.
well recently. But the Falcons coming off a win. The Dolphins are on a 5 game losing streak. After that first win, when they won against the Patriots off a fumble at the end of the game, they couldn't win no more. Thank God for the Patriots giving them that fumble, or else the Dolphins right now would have been 0-6. So my thing
including the
is,
loss to the Jaguars.
I like the misery of the
Doing a loss
Dolphins.
to the Jaguars.
So this week I game with the Falcons because I love to see the Dolphins lose. This is
True.
it probably could be a close game. I feel like this is a winnable game for the Dolphins. So I'll risk my perfect record to take an L on this one. But my high bet, if I was betting on this game, would be the Falcons um, going in and beating the Dolphins at home.
But
Well,
I don't think that's a risky bet though. I think uh through the course of 5 weeks, the Dolphins hasn't given us anything to I don't know it for us to gain any confidence in them versus the Falcons, where we've seen, some shades of Matt Ryan actually looking like a sensible quarterback, and him having some weapons in Kyle Pitts and Cordell Patterson. So Matt Ryan's coming along. I got the Falcons in this one. Once the Dolphins lose to the Jags in London, uh, ain't no hope for them now. Like,
Well, well, I will say the Jags loss is. I mean, look, you can't lose to the Jaguars. You cannot be the first team to lose in the what 2 seasons. You can't be the first team to do that, bro. But I actually have the Dolphins in this one. I think Tua has had he had a really good game last week. If he could build off of that against a not so strong Falcons defense, um, we talked about how Matt Ryan basically forces the ball to Kyle Pitts. If they can take away that option, the Dolphins defense, we know that defense is at least decent to the degree. They're at home, like they're playing a not so great team. I think the Dolphins have enough to pull this one off. Like I said, the Jaguars lost. That sort of left a sour taste in my mouth for picking them, but I do think they have enough to at least uh, make this one competitive and pull this off in the end. So I got the Dolphins. All right, what's next up on the schedule? Next on the schedule, we got first 4 o'clock game, 4:05 game. We got the 0-6 Lions versus the Rams.
Um, well, this is an easy game for me. Um,
Should be an
I
easy
have
game
I
for
have a
everybody.
lot of fantasy picks riding on this. So I hope it don't be too much of blow because then fellas can sit down. But obviously they in LA. You got Matthew Stafford playing against his old team, which I know he would love to touch. And you got uh,
Yeah,
a top
Jaguar playing against the old
defense.
team.
You have a top defense coming in to go up against a team that's 0-6. I feel Aaron Donald can smash that offensive line up today,
yeah,
and they can be into problems. Um, I see the head coach of the Lions said something recently about golf when he is like, "Oh, he needs to step up and just make the throws," and I was like, "Oh, there's some Doc Rivers vibe going on here." What you mean? I must step up? You on the field, bro? You don't see what I see. Then when I make these throws and they turn into interceptions, you can say, "Oh, he needs to be more conservative with the ball." Big man, hold your clipboard and watch me work. They pay me the 25 million. They don't pay you this. At the end of the day, I mean, I all in for coaching and stuff like that, right? But don't come at me sideways like that when you ain't even no reputable coach. Like you, what have you done in this league? No one knows you. Um, if you were so good, you wouldn't be coaching the Lions. But my thing is, you can't just keep doing that to players and expect them to keep taking that lightly. Every time the team so only because of my throws we losing. I guess we have a top tier defense, a top tier special team, and we have the greatest wide receivers and running backs here. And you trying to put this on me like, oh, it's only down to my throws. That is why we losing. Okay, bro. Everything cool. See, this is what caused players and coaches to get this day and age of players are not the players that of old where you could pull them on the side and grab them by their neck and yuck them up and say, "Big man, go there and do what I say," and this and that. These players ain't into that this time. This is a new age of players all around sports. You can't do that in
Making them much
football,
fun.
basketball, any sport anymore because the players telling you, hold your head, bro. People don't pay tickets to come here and watch the coach. People don't come here to see you. That's number one. And then on top of that, I also obviously perform at a certain level. to be able to be a starting quarterback or to be a starting NBA player or to be a elite athlete in this world. I'm the top 1%. You're not gonna talk down to me while you hold your clipboard. So in that instance, I was like, Jeff Goff, if I was him, I was going to then throw him 5 interception day. Let me see what you can do. Because you know what they can do. I being real. If you look at certain things, my thing is Jared Goff is never gonna be a great quarterback. He's never gonna make the Hall of Fame. At least not on this team. Unless he goes someplace and then superstars his way for the next 3, 4 seasons, he's not gonna be that good. My thing is you already getting paid. And at the end of the day, when the organization looks back at this at the end of the season, who you think can shoulder a lot of the blame? You can blame me as the new quarterback, or wasn't Stafford just here? So how come Stafford could go on the Rams and carry them to the playoffs? Wasn't Jared Goff almost an MVP candidate and carried the Rams to the Super Bowl?
To the Super Bowl, yeah.
So is it really Jared Goff? I don't care if they had Todd Gurley and other guys at that time. Who was their wide receivers? Cooper Cup was young. Robert Wood was young. If Cooper Cup was now, back then, that would have been crazy. Along with Todd Gurley, and they didn't even have Jalen Ramsey back then.
Nope.
They had Aaron
So
Donald,
you
but
want
they
to
didn't have
drag
Jalen
one.
Ramsey. So it's like, don't make it seem like it's Jared Goff. Yeah, he's not the number one superstar next Aaron Rodgers. He all thought he was gonna be, but he is a quality quarterback on a quality team. So if you don't have a quality team, don't you come in no press conference talking about I need to throw the ball better. Throw it to who? Who I need to throw it to better? Give me some guys to throw the ball to then. Maybe I'll throw it better.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, like you said, they're not transformative dudes like the Aaron Rodgers, like the Tom Brady's, Patrick Mahomes. They're not transformative quarterbacks, but they are still decent quarterbacks if you give them a good situation. And this is one of those games where, although it's as lopsided as it comes on in terms of record, I actually expect this game to be semi-competitive because
Hmm.
it's just so much uh,
I think
narrative on
Matthew
both
Stafford
sides.
can go off on them just to prove
You
a
have,
point.
but in the same manner, you have a guy like Jared Goff who was very, very sour about getting traded to the Lions. A guy who you said I led this team to the Super Bowl before. So I expect him to have a really good game, just because he's just so motivated to play. And the same, but I also expect Matthew Stafford, who requested a trade from there, to say, okay, I'm gonna have a good game as well. Um, so I expect it to be semi-competitive. I'm not gonna say competitive because they're just so lopsided in terms of talent. But I expect to have some good heated moments in this game. I'm never gonna pick a 0-6 team this deep into the season to win a game, especially against a Rams team that's firing on all cylinders. So I'm gonna go Rams, but I don't expect it to be a blow.
I agree 100%. I think Goff is gonna compete harder than he's competed in the last 6 weeks. I think this is gonna be his best game, but I don't think he can lead them to a victory against the Rams, top 10 offense and top 10 defense. I don't see that. He don't have the pieces. He don't have the system. He don't have the team, just overall to compete with someone like the Rams. But he is gonna compete his
Yeah,
butt off.
he's gonna compete. He's gonna compete.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, I mean, he knows probably guys like Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey better than anybody. So if anybody could have a decent game against those type of defensive players, it could be him. But they still all time, well not all time, they're still elite defensive players. Aaron Donald is an all time defensive player,
Yeah,
but they're
and
still
all the time.
elite defensive players. So I don't expect a win to happen. But like I said, I expect both quarterbacks to be very, very, very motivated. Um, and we could get a show from I think both of them.
It's something about revenge games, but they just boost your attributes up. I don't know what it
Yeah,
is, but
just put your sliders up. Just put your sliders up, back against the wall. You know, you got to make something shake. And like I say, for the good part for the football fans is we get to see it on both sides.
Yeah.
right? So that should be a good one. The next one we have the Eagles. We got the Raiders in that
Raiders.
4-5 game. Who y'all got pulling out this one?
Um, I was looking at my app and I see something about Darren Waller may not play. If Darren Waller doesn't play, the Raiders have a low chance of winning, just because of the fact that he demands so much attention that he gets
No
guys like
chance.
rugs them open and stuff like that. So it's like if you don't have that number one on your team or in the game, and guys on the defense now, instead of covering double covering your tight end, you can now spread your safety back over other guys. It's gonna make it hard for Derek Carr. Um, to be honest, I don't know where the Raiders are at right now, team wise or mentally, because they started off great, and then the whole John Gruden situation just messed everything up.
Mhm.
And I don't know. Like they coming off a win, but the Eagles right now has a fighting chance. This is a tough game. They in Las Vegas, so depending on Dan Waller, um, it's a tough pick. It's a tough pick.
They really in the middle of the pack in terms of rankings. 13 offense, 17 defense, and it wasn't like that at the beginning of the season. Like you say, it was
Hmm.
clicking at the beginning of the season before the whole John Gruden vibe.
My thing is, I feel like they should fight just to prove that it wasn't Gruden. Because if you go down into the toilet bowl now the rest of the season, it's like, oh yeah, he's this type of person, but he's still a good coach. Because before he left, he had the team doing this, he had the team doing that. So my thing is, as players and as even as an organization, if I was the owner, I was coming down into that locker room and say, big man, big man, big man. Y'all gonna need to win games to prove that it's the team that won these games. The team is what's getting this going. Because the second you will lose 3 games in a row, 4 games in a row, everybody can say, oh, the Gruden effect. Oh, John Gruden was still a good coach, even though as a person he was in X, Y, and Z. To erase John Gruden from your books completely, you have to go on a streak and you have to win games. This is a very winnable game. So for that reason, I gave it the Raiders. Next week, you want to buy. When you come back, you got the Giants, you got the Bengals, you got very winnable games coming up that you can make a statement this year. So if they want to clear the record and erase John Gruden from their memory banks, I guess, for this season, you do that by winning while he's not there. The least they have to do this season is make the playoffs. I tell you, gotta go out, win the Super Bowl. I tell you, gotta go and win out the rest of the season. But the least you have to do, even if you make a wild card pick, the least the Raiders should do this year to get rid of that steam is to make the playoffs. Because if you don't, the whole offseason story can be it. Oh, John Gruden left, John Gruden this, John Gruden that. And nobody want to hear about John Gruden no more. So it's like win, and winning solves a lot of problems.
Well, I say this. No matter what happens from here on out, it ain't gonna really be much John Gruden defenders in the media. Um, I don't expect people to harp on him no more because what's done with him is done. He done in the court of public opinion. Um, but the Raiders, like you say, this is a winnable game on both sides for both the Raiders and both the Eagles. The Raiders coming off a very emotionally charged win. It's only so long um, those emotions will last and carry you into W's. After a while, it just become about the X's and O's and what you have on the field. Um, in this case, Waller being questionable is a big thing. He's still a game down decision from what I read. So we'll see what happens with him. I'm still going with the Raiders. I feel as if they have enough to win this game. But it's not going to be an easy task, and they are going to face a stiff test from Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. So I go with the Raiders.
I think the Raiders even have momentum and all. I think Philly has lost the last two games. Granted, they were two good teams. Um, the Raiders have won the last two teams. Granted, one of those games was against the Dolphins. But I just think momentum will carry the Raiders into winning this one. Like you say, they have something to prove. Their bye is coming up. They're gonna give it their all, knowing that after their bye, they have winnable games. They already won the last two. Yeah, I got the Raiders in this one. Going into the bye 5-2, looks good. In their quest to forget John Gruden.
Okay, so that's Raiders across the board. And like we said, I don't think this is going to be an easy game for them, but I do think they have enough to win. Um, a lot of that again depends on Waters' health. Um, they got a next game coming up at 4:25. This should be an interesting game. Um, we got the Chicago Bears traveling to Tampa Bay the Buccaneers. How
Oh
y'all
boy.
feel about this game?
I mean, like I said, it's really interesting. It's interesting because obviously, you know that the X factor in Tampa Bay now is Tom Brady. So it's interesting because everybody just wants to see Tom Brady. Um, it's on at 4:25. Um, to be honest, I don't see a matchup here. Um, the Bears is a good team, and Khalil Mack could possibly get to Tom Brady. I would say twice, if that. But to be honest, when you look at the matchup, it's far top of the top of the league, bottom of the league. Um, Tampa Bay is top three offense. Chicago is bottom three offense. Tampa Bay has top 10 defense. Um, right now, the
Chicago has top 10 defense too.
I mean, if you want to call it that,
Do what you want to call it.
I mean, don't let the numbers fool you. It also depends on matchups. But this is a big team they're going against. We can see how top that defense is today. When Tom Brady taking the top off that defense with long bombs to Mike Evans and
Well,
uh, Tyler Johnson.
let's remind you that the Buccaneers, I gotta say the Patriots, the Buccaneers have only played one top 10 defense all season, and that's the Patriots. So they only have one win against top 10 defense, and that's the
You're right. Say
Patriots.
that because they
And now
played the
they played
Rams
the
too,
Rams and get their head
and they
pounded up.
lost. Right.
So they only have one win against top 10 defense. That's the Patriots, and that was by shoots. That came down to the wire. So let's not act like this could be some type of runaway. I
Yeah, I
don't
was
think it
picking
could
the
be a
Bears then.
runaway. I don't think it could be a runaway. Right? So let's just keep that in mind. I'm picking the Bears. Obviously not. I think the Bucks, like you say, they have a really good defense as well, and I think their pass rush to affect Justin Fields. So I don't have enough faith in the Bears offense to pull off a game like this. But um, I don't think it'll be a runaway either. I pick in Tampa Bay to win, despite the slew of injuries that they have. I think they have enough to still pull out a win, especially at home. So I'll go Tampa Bay.
The Bears hot last in the league in rushing yards. We've been saying time and time again, the Bucks is the number one defensive team in the Russian defense. So that don't sit well for the Bears. They hot last in the passing yards too. That's crazy. Um,
Exactly.
I think that's that
So
38. That's that
and
38 3 game. but they had negative yards. I think that affected them. I might have
And
seen the
this is
numbers
my
this week.
thing when you say, like I tell you, you could have a top 10. The reason why I say it doesn't matter that the Bears have a top 10 defense is because okay, even if you get stops, when you put your offense back on the field, then what? At least with the with the Buccaneers, yeah, they have a top defense. When you get stops, okay, Tom Brady come in the field. He can at least get you in field goal range, put up three.
Hmm.
Then you put the Bears back on, boom, turnovers. The Bucks come back on, okay, maybe a touchdown this lap, 10. Then you put your offense back on the team, boom, nothing. Then Tom Brady comes back on. Even if you get an interception, you better run that in for a pick six. Because if you get an interception and that on the
Yeah,
50-yard line, you put your offense back on the field, you better pray you even get in field goal range.
yeah.
These guys can't get no yards. You got a rookie quarterback. You got zero run game along. When I say zero run game, they have an okay run game, but that depends on the quarterback as well because he's a Russian scrambling quarterback. But this is the best run defense in the league. So that run game is gonna get neutralized real quick, and then you gotta put the ball into your rookie quarterback hands probably 40
And force
times
him
this
through.
game and
Yeah.
force him to
Mhm.
throw on maybe a sneaky secondary. But could you push the ball down the field? In order for the Bears to win, dog gotta go there and throw bombs.
And they
Throw 'em-
and
Yeah, the
they
game is like
and they are the bottom half of the league in terms of interceptions. So you ain't want him just slinging that ball.
but my thing is, in order for you to throw bombs, you need time. You don't have that offensive line to hold up against that defensive pass rush to say you got 3 seconds to wait for your receivers to get downfield. So even with a shaky defense, all I have to do now is sit back in zone. I would not press your guys man to man. I would sit back in a zone and I'd send my four outstanding pass rushes to mash your offensive line up. And let me see if this guy is smart enough to launch the ball down the field. And who was your 50-50 pass catches? Because Robinson is questionable with an ankle injury. So even if you throw that ball and lob it up in the air, you don't even have a number one who, for a 50-50 ball, could come down with that, even though Tampa Bay doesn't have no big number one cornerback or safety on their team right now. So, like I say, with that being said, I know Antonio Brown isn't playing today, but I feel like that's like a maintenance call because they feel like, hey, we ain't really need you, boss. And to be honest, like I told someone this week, Antonio Brown has been the best wide receiver on this team this year. If you look at stats, if you look at his play in games, Antonio Brown has been making plays, has been putting up the yards, has been scoring touchdowns at a higher level than Mike Evans uh, on this team. And I feel like Antonio Brown is the best wide receiver for the Bucks this year so far. Mike Evans get a lot of red zone touches because of his size. The guy is 6'5", obviously. So he will get them 50-50 end zone passes. But I talking about when you want to move the ball, when you want to get first downs, when you need that guy to make that 3rd and 10 catch to put you in good position, you get Antonio Brown. But if he's not there this week, like I say, I don't expect the offense to be as explosive. But that Johnson guy, I put him up in fantasy. That young Johnson guy, he's now the wide receiver tree. I feel he's gonna have a good game today as well.
Safe to say you got the Bucks in this one.
Well, of course.
yeah.
I got the Bucks
And
too. Yeah, Chicago being last in yardage and rushing and passing.
especially with
Yeah,
his loss.
yeah. That's and like you say, given the Bucks number one rushing defense, I think they're gonna force the quarterback to pass, and I don't think that's gonna bode well for them. I got the Bucks taking this one easily.
Uh, okay. Cool. So we got the Bucks. Um, next one, another 425 boy. We got the Cardinals and the Texans. The Texans are the Cardinals. Now I followed on my team earlier. I I said I'm picking up 0-16 this season. I don't know if I'd pick a 1-5 team, especially against what we have going on here. Cardinals. Storylines, you know, JJ Watt playing against his old team, DeAndre Hopkins playing against his old team. Um, I think this should be an easy one for everybody involved. I think all those guys have been motivated. I think the Cardinals are playing with a lot of freedom on offense. They're playing with a lot of confidence. Kyler Murray is playing at an all-time level right now. So I got the Cardinals running away with this one.
Yeah, I don't mean I don't see. I don't even see a discussion on on this. Top five offense in the Cardinals. Top three defense in the Cardinals. Yeah, this one shouldn't be close.
Shouldn't be.
The
This one is
Texans,
not gonna be close.
no, the Texans, right? I try and see what they rank in rushing yards.
Yashin
Uh,
has the Texans is 26. My thing is they don't have nothing, zero. The only thing they have is Deshaun Watson, who I probably get traded this week because the deadline is next weekend. That's really the biggest storyline here. The reason why I don't really count them other storylines is that the the Texans are so trash. Is like really like okay, JJ Watt and Hopkins coming back to do what? Be the dead horse. It's not like oh the Texans has been good without you guys. So now you coming in here to prove that oh it was us whatever. You are far head and shoulders above the Texans right now, and it's because of you two guys, but also it's because that's one of the reasons why the Texans are where they are. JJ Watt is I think the Texans leading almost in everything when it comes to sacks, tackles, whatever you want to put there. And obviously, DeAndre uh, Hopkins is up there too with their. I think only Andre Johnson really have stats who could rival DeAndre Hopkins in Texas. But my thing is like this isn't even a fair matchup. This is one of them games where the ref should stop it at halftime and say, no mercy rule
Mercy
or
rule.
something. Like ease up. So I feel like I said, the Cardinals come out highly motivated, but not doing too much because you don't want this type of game to cause injuries because you want a part of a Super Bowl. You don't have time to go there try to prove something to a garbage team. You've already proved your point by leaving and becoming a better team and going on a better team in Arizona. Don't go there trying to do too much, get injured, cost yourself because you now the top team in the league heading towards the playoffs, trying to go for a Super Bowl. Don't let no garbage team distract you. Forget them. Let them do what they want. They about to lose their star quarterback. They about to be a Taylor Bowl team for the next 5 years. Get over it. Wave. They ain't even in Texas. They in Arizona.
And
So
Arizona.
beat them down, kick them out of your place, send them back to Houston crying, and move on till week 8.
Yeah, this one of them easy games where it's a no-brainer. I mean, the Cardinals just should win this by a blow. I mean, I don't see this going any other way. I like you say, probably even going as far as benching starters
Of course,
come third, fourth quarter.
because I don't even want no joy out of them. Like I don't want no talking. I don't want no running on. You don't have nothing to prove to this team. This team, when y'all
No,
was
you
there, wasted your talents, wasted your good years, your prime. You don't have nothing to say to them. You hug and
yeah.
check on a couple of your friends over there, and that's about it.
Put them out there miserably and just get it over with. Yeah, that's how this game should go. So Cardinals all around. Next one, we got another. Oh, we got an 8:20 matchup now. It's 8:20 matchup. We got the Colts and we got the 49ers. What y'all think about this one?
Um, I
Garoppolo
was looking,
starting this one.
ugh, I was looking at this all week, and I was trying to pick a reason for me to take the Colts. And one of my reasons was T.Y. Hilton being back. Until the report came out yesterday that T.Y. Hilton is out
Yeah, he's out.
again after just coming back. So he out. And on the other side, you got Trey Lance, who's also, like I told you from the beginning, has been outplaying Garoppolo this season. But he has a knee injury, so Garoppolo will get the start. But I don't even think Garoppolo is 100. So to me, I feel now this could be one of the closer games than what people think. They're in San Francisco. Um, I don't know. I seen that last game was impressive from the Colts. Wentz actually looked like a starting quarterback last game, and I don't know. It's pretty. A lot of the stats line up where they're like middle of the pack. Both of these teams are middle of the pack. Um, gee, Kittle ain't even back yet. There's a lot of big name injuries. I don't even know where I can go with this.
It's a tough game to pick, to be honest. Um, like I said, all around, both these teams, they middle of the park. Um, you could make the argument that the Colts sort of trending upwards. They had a few good games the last 2 weeks. Um, but in general, both these teams are more or less mediocre in some ways. No Trey Lance means we get more Jimmy G. And that hasn't exactly been a winning formula for the 49ers, but I don't know. It may be enough here. So if I had to pick right now, I probably would side slightly with the 49ers. I don't feel great with a pick, but I think I might get them a slight edge here. I still don't, even though it's sort of trending upwards, they still are a very inconsistent team. They still leave a lot of points on the board. Um, so I'd probably side slightly with the 49ers.
I got some good feeling about the Colts though. I mean, looking at their last 5 games, right? They lose to really good teams and they win against the teams that they should beat. They won against the Texans. They won against the Dolphins. They lost against Baltimore, Tennessee, and the Rams, which we didn't expect them to win those games.
Yeah,
And even with the Rams games, they played it very, very well.
Baltimore game, they played it very well. Yeah.
Right, Baltimore game went in overtime. So I mean, they not like they're not bottom board. They competing in these games. At the same time, San Francisco just put up 41 points
again, too.
against the Lions.
Exactly.
San Francisco games the same thing. They lost to the Cardinals, they lost to the Seahawks, they lost to Packers. They can't beat them teams. They won against Philly, they won against Detroit. So these two teams beating the teams that they're supposed to beat.
Exactly. That's why I say it's a
They,
Very
very
middle of
close
the park
game.
teams. Very
yeah,
middle
they
of the park teams.
yeah,
And it
very.
depends on matchup. That's why I say people like T.Y. Hilton would have made a difference. Trey Lance definitely would have made a difference. Now you have a sitting quarterback. The only way San Francisco wins this is if Jimmy G goes off, which he has the capabilities of doing because when it comes to Indianapolis defense or as a team, they're allowing a lot of yards. So it's like, hmm, maybe if Jimmy G does come back and get it pumping and get it going, he can run away with the game. But then you look at the other end, you say, okay, same thing for the Colts. If Ren start hitting some throws early and they start getting the momentum, they start
Yeah.
rolling downhill, um, it could make a big difference. Um, I ain't sure. To be honest, I might have to just throw this one away, but I get with the Colts just because at this time they at least have a running game. They have multiple running backs they can put out there, get some yards, get some tough first downs, and at least hit some field goals and maybe scrap into the end zone. From on the San Francisco side, Jimmy G could go off, but that's what they need for him to them to win. They have their rushing game is impressive. They have bang up running backs all season. Trey Lance was even the only reason their rushing game is even middle of the pack is because Trey Lance was adding to that. So it's like If you don't have that running quarterback or that mobile quarterback now, and you have Jimmy G sitting back there in the pocket, it makes it easier for the
For the
defense.
Colts defense, yeah,
So
which is almost top 10 right now. I have them ranked 11, so
exactly. So
that ain't too bad.
uh, as much as I want to go San Francisco at home, I think I'll go with the Colts in an upset, but not by much. Maybe a
Yeah,
field goal, last second interception, but not by much.
I feel in the Colts too. I think in the games that they played, even the games that they lost, there was very competitive games. Never was it, a beat down, and that shows me that they have the potential. They're just lacking a few pieces against a middle of the pack teams that they supposed to beat. They beat them every time. I think this is one of the teams that they could beat. I think they'll perform enough, well enough to beat them. I got the Colts in this one.
Okay, so we got Colts, and I picked San Fran. So again, a very tough game to call for all sides. So we'll see what happens on this one. And then we have our Monday night game before we get to our headliner, which is actually going to be 1 o'clock today. We got our Monday night game, and that is the Saints and the Seahawks. Who's your pick for that game?
Saints,
Um,
see how. I think
like I
James
say,
to come. I think James to come through this now. The
because
Seahawks.
uh,
The Seahawks without Russ. I think they say Russ could be missing the next 2 or 3 weeks. What it is.
Probably
I,
3 weeks, probably.
I think, and then the Saints defense is still pretty good. I think they top 10. Yeah,
Okay.
I got Jameis pulling out this one. Jameis off and on, like like we established. Any mini money mo Jameis. I think that's one of the more weeks for him. I think he could pull this one off against the Seahawks without Russ.
yeah,
Um,
again with the Saints as well. Like you said, just off the fact that they're coming off a bye, so guys are getting healthier. Guys have time to rest. They had more time to game plan. Whereas the Seahawks obviously have no starting quarterback. They have Jameis, Geno Smith, but I expect Geno Smith to put up a fight, but nothing heavy to where it's gonna be enough. So far, even when Russell was there, they was middle of the pack. To be honest with you, now Russell is out. They bottom of the pack. Um, DK is there ranting, talking to Shannon Sharp like, "Oh, the
but
pocket."
what I don't know,
And my thing is, okay, your quarterback
what I
in
don't know.
there, you still supposed to be a number one. Why fella shutting you down all of a sudden? Because your QB can't extend the play for you to get open. The reason, like it does, but there's so much intangibles to football. That's why I love
But
football. Football is a very unpredictable sport because people it actually could make a big difference.
hmm
When you have to hold DK for 3 seconds because you have a sitting in the pocket quarterback, you could do that. You could scheme for that. But it's the fact of where, okay, if DK is running a slant or something like that, and then after 3 seconds, Russell is scrambling. You trying to figure out as a defender where the ball is. Then when you look back, Russell friggin' coming out of the pocket. So you trying to make a decision whether to crash down and tackle him or stay on your receiver. And before you know it, DK done cut off his slant route and gone upfield. So the reason why you could look so good is not just because of you, bro. I don't care how big and muscular you is and how we have had wide receivers look like you before, and some of them wasn't even good. Like your body just in shape, but that don't mean you good. But not to say DK isn't good. He is good, but Russell makes you better. Now when you got Gino in there, who eyeing down receivers, and he can't really extend plays like how Russell does. Now you're looking average, bro, and then you're running on with a Hall of Famer.
But I mean, that's what I don't get because Shannon Sharp was right.
Exactly.
Like
Nothing Shannon said that wasn't
he
right.
just criticized him. But that's all he did. I mean,
Yeah,
just
these young fellas soft.
give him a good critic, and then he could say, "Wait." Then he got the heart to talk Shine Sharp. Shine Sharp said, "Wait, check my resume." Who was like, "Your resume ain't nothing." And then a
Yeah.
couple of minutes later, he could come back and say, "Well, I just checked it, so apologies for that."
But when I saw
I don't know
that,
if he stole it or what, but
when I watched that play, I was like, "Wait, what the hell is TK doing?" Like, I mean, not
I
even the
honestly
fact that
didn't understand what he's thinking.
you do that and then you mess up. Like, thank God, your team was able to jump on the ball. But bro, like, what the hell you was thinking? And that's Shannon Sharp job. Secondly, to make
Exactly.
statements like that and say that was a dumb play in which it was. I
Yeah, it
saw
was.
Shannon Sharp being the only one that said that. So I don't. I curious as to why he even attacked Shannon. I don't know,
It's
but
because of lack of knowledge. These young guys, they think, oh, everybody there is just an analyst. My thing is, yeah, you do have some guys who are just analysts and they just get the job because I guess they sit in some media
journalists,
journalism
they're
class,
journalists.
whatever
Yeah,
crap. But you got some guys out there who actually been on that field, bro. So my thing is, like, you have to pick your point. It's almost like what I said earlier with golf. Like when you have a coach who is not that guy, you could attack that because, like I said, these young guys are not gonna take that. They're gonna respond and they're gonna act accordingly. But where you gotta know who to pick your battles with. You can't go up against a Hall of Famer, a top five all time at his position, and then run on with him when you barely top five in the league today. I could name five receivers better than TK right now. You ain't even top five today, and you running on with a guy who was top five all time at his position. You got to do your research, young blood. This ain't no regular person you talking to.
but
So
I think it was more offensive to him because it was actually true. I think if it was
well,
something that he didn't
if you
feel
like
was
Yeah,
that.
true,
true there.
I think if it was something that he didn't feel was true, he would probably wouldn't even respond. But because
Yeah,
his coach probably too into him, his teammates probably too into him, So when the media do it, he's like, hold on now, because
got too far.
it ain't no reason you. I mean, like you say, I don't know. The way I think about it, before I say that's a bonehead play, I think about it like this: if he was successful, would I call it a dumb play?
Exactly.
And the answer is yes. I
Yeah,
still would have called it a dumb play even if he was
yeah.
successful.
It's about to me. It's about the intent, not the result all the time. Like if the intent is good, more I can live with the result more often than not. Even if it don't pan out the way I wanted to pan out, I can live with the result more often than not. But if you just doing things, you don't have no plan behind it. If it worked, well, hey, it worked. But at the end of the day, you wasn't. That was a stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I mean?
mean,
It's a dumb
uh,
thing to do.
I honestly and obviously don't agree with that. But it's never. I don't care what your intent is. It's the result. My thing is, you could do what you want once you get the winning result. That's like just segueing for a second in the NBA. What's the difference right now, really, between if you go back and really look at college? What's the difference between Jimmy Fredette and Steph Curry,
Movement
especially
off the
when they
ball.
came to the NBA
Movement off the ball.
and hit
Great,
your
don't answer that.
shots?
Great,
Like
don't
common
answer
sense.
that.
Like I don't care.
No, ain't
You
can say that.
can't
Don't
tell
answer
me you cannot sit there and tell me no
that. Don't
crap
answer.
about intent. So you mean to tell me Steph taking stupid shots, but when they go in, you can say, oh well, then that's still a bad shot. Yeah, I don't care.
It
You
ain't a
give me
bad shot for
50,
him.
that's cool.
No,
That's
but
like
Jamal,
football. Them 50-50 balls, like I told you, with when you have guys who are 50-50 guys, a lot of them ball what Kyler Murray throws. We watched what he did last year at the end of the game when he rolled to the left and sling a ball to the end zone with DeAndre Hopkins jumping over three guys to catch that. Was that a good throw?
You have to
No.
understand though. You
But
have to
if he
understand.
catch the touchdown, oh, Kyler Murray is a great quarterback
No,
no,
and
no,
this
but
and
no.
you
that.
still
That
for
was a
me,
You
horrible
confusing,
throw.
you confusing
for
things. You have to understand this. You have to understand this. That if it's done over a period of time, it's not by accident. So I can't say that Steph Curry, for instance, shooting those types of shots are bad shots if he's consistently done it over a period of time.
If he's
You understand what I'm
consistently
saying?
making him over a period of time, not
Yes.
consistently
I don't
taking him. So
no
it still
see
depends on the result.
for
Making them
me,
is the result.
for me, the result don't matter. And like I
No,
always say, Kobe is the worst shot select has the worst shot selection of all time. He's
Exactly.
he's hit them, he don't miss them,
Exactly.
but that don't make it any less a bad shot selection. That's a bad
no,
shot.
but I'm
Steph
saying
takes bad shots.
it's not bad shot
But it's the
selection.
result that makes you great.
It's not bad shot selection if consistently
No
over
one makes the
time.
Hall of Fame from taking good shots. Y'all just
If
y'all
consistently,
bashing a guy in Philadelphia right now for can't shoot because he taking layups. The guy still average over 20 points taking layups, but y'all mad at him because he doesn't want to take a 3-pointer. To him, that's a bad shot. So what is
And
the
that's
intent
true.
there?
And you want to take a mid range. He
Exactly,
he wants
because in
at
his
some
he,
point,
he
mind,
wants to
it's
push
the
shot.
intent that hey,
at
that's a
some
bad
point,
shot to me.
at some point, he didn't even want to take a layup.
Well,
I mean, how
Yeah,
far you can go with
I don't give
this?
you 25, bro. Don't
that's the
blame
next
me.
thing right
Let
there.
the other guys take layup. But anyway, this
That's the
football
next thing
today.
right
But I think no, but I
Um,
think I for me, I if it's bad, it's bad. Now if you get accustomed to making bad shots, then like you say, you great. Kobe. Kobe
If you get
made
accustomed
some
to doing it,
really,
then
really
it
horrible
can't be
shots.
bad for you anymore. It can't be bad for you anymore. It may be bad for someone else, but it can't be bad for you. You see what
yeah,
I'm
but
saying?
this the
It can't be
NFL.
bad for you.
Guys, I don't care who you is, you will make bad plays. But it's 50-50. That's why they call them 50-50 ball.
For,
Because if you throw it up and it gets interception, like let's look at Jameis. Let's look at Jameis.
yeah,
Jameis
I
is a
think
perfect example of that.
but
Why
I
do you think
think
he's
you
so inconsistent? One
but
week it's he's
yeah, it's
trash,
a
he's bottom of
horrible
the barrel.
selection.
Next week is God, this guy throws 5 touchdowns.
But my
He been
thing
throwing the
is,
same passes.
yeah, but I think you exaggerating that percentage. I don't think it's 50-50.
That's
For
what they
some
call it,
people,
50-50
for,
ball.
yeah, but for some people it ain't 50-50.
Yeah, for
It's
some,
like
but
seventy-five,
you can't
25.
ever gauge it. It's really you
Right.
can't really
So
gauge
for
it.
Because
So
some
that's why I
people,
if
say
and that's where it skews between intent and result. Because if it's 75-25, then
that's
you
good.
just yeah, it's good.
That's good.
But if it's 25, you getting the result you want, but 75, you ain't gonna get it. Then it's like, okay, why are you even doing that? You know what I mean? That's like we talked about with a couple of years back in the Super Bowl with Marshawn Lynch not running on the 1 yard on the 1 yard line to win the game, right? The intent might have been um the
give
intent might
Russell
have been
Wilson
good,
an MVP. That didn't
right?
sound like a good intent. That sounds very silly.
But even the thought process behind him not even getting the ball was dumb. And all of us knew that. The thought process behind even if they'd have won the game based off of that, we'd have been like, bro,
No.
that might have not been a smart play.
If Malcolm Butler hadn't watched that play over and over and jumped that play, that 1 yard Marshawn Lynch thing would never even have been a topic. You know what y'all would say? Oh, that's great coaching because everybody expected Marshawn Lynch to get the ball on the 1 yard line. So for you to
I don't
play
think people
action
say that
that
super
and
effective.
actually pull that out and run a screen play, oh, Pete Carroll is a genius.
I
One
I
agree.
think
I
catch
I think
to one interception changes you
I
from
think
a
I think
genius
I
to a
think people would have been like,
bonehead.
that's a ballsy play. I think people would have been like, that's a ballsy play.
They'd say
That's
that's
a
a
ballsy
great
play.
play. They'd say everybody is expecting Marshawn Lynch to get the ball. So of course, everybody, and that's what I hate with people who comes after the play with this.
We got
Oh, of
hindsight.
course
What you call
revisionist
you would
history is a
make
thing
that
though.
call. You'd be like, what?
Revisionist history is a thing.
Yeah,
Hindsight
of course
is
I would
always
make that
20
call
2020.
because he get the touchdown. But the second he get the interception, oh, Pete Carroll was on the hot seat. They was ready to fire him at the end of the
But
game.
listen, but that's my point though. Hindsight is always 2020. Revisionist history is a
no,
thing.
but I
We can't think with revisionist history. We have to think in that moment, what is the thing that we probably should do? We have to
mhm.
think that in that moment. Because people can
and
always
I
talk after the play that happened.
yeah, and
You
I
see what I'm
okay.
saying?
For instance, I have a perfect example. Last week, the Bills and the Titans. I don't think that call was a bad call. Would I have taken that call and
What that
try to
that that
have
1 yard thing?
the
That
one
was so
yard
stupid.
quarterbacks? See, I don't think that was dumb. I wouldn't
How
have done it.
not?
I wouldn't have done it.
Why wasn't
But
it dumb if
that
you
man was
down?
a he's been successful with that.
Yeah, but exactly.
That's a
So
Steph
if
Curry
you've
dream.
been successful with it and everybody have watched you done it and they know how to stop it. See, it's different than football is way different than
If
basketball.
they knew,
Like you say with Steph, you
if
can't
they
stop a
knew,
shot,
if they knew how to
especially with the
stop it,
refs. The refs don't even let you get close to it. But now in football, I could bully your offensive line and
mhm,
stop it. And my thing is, you ain't up. If the game was tied, I would have let it slide because if you don't get it, you go into overtime. You're down 3, and you're in. This ain't even a long football, a
Right,
field goal. It ain't like you at the 50-yard line.
right. You right
You
there.
legit at the
Like I say,
10.
I
That's
would
a
have took
chip
the
in.
field goal, but that's not a bad play because if they knew how to stop it, if it's so easy to stop, they would have been stopping it. You wouldn't have been as successful as you were the whole game with that.
But did you get
So,
it?
but my thing, no, you didn't get it, but you can't just focus on the results. We talking about decision. The analysis of the decision have to come before the results. You can't just say,
It
"Oh,
has
Exactly.
to.
you didn't get it,
It has to
so it's
come.
a bad play."
And that was a
You can't.
poor decision.
Wait, no,
But
but
see,
that's.
Because
But see,
even
you
if you
put
get
my
that
point.
first down, you realize that it still doesn't guarantee you winning or even getting a touchdown. So if you get that first down and then go 3-0, you still got to kick the field goal.
so how
What's
was
the
that a
point?
bad play? But what DK did wasn't a bad play.
Because what they did was that play right there wasn't a play that, okay, like I said, if the score was tied, I'll go for it because if I get it, I have a chance to win.
But DK
If
didn't
I
have to
didn't
go
get
for
it,
it.
well, TK
DK could have run. He could have run out of bounds.
you could look
He
at DK
should
and
have
see
run out of
everything
bounds.
in there. Come on,
He
some
But it's like,
fellas,
he was playing
yeah,
hero ball, and he wanted extra yards or a touchdown when the safe place was to run out of bounds and still
yes,
have
but
a possession score.
we're talking now about a player versus coaches. As a player, your job is to be a superior athlete. A lot of these fellas, even there's go. Let's be real. A lot of these fellas go to colleges and take up art and craft just as a major, just to get. A lot of these fellas ain't too. They ain't come here for all of this. The X's is over. Some people could tell you if you watch NFL documentaries, fellas will tell you when they come to media day and stuff or film day, fellas them is being in the film room sleeping. Like they like
You mean like
it's only
golf?
certain it's only certain people like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and stuff them who studies the game and who has that in-game knowledge to know that hey get down or let me slide or let me do certain things. A lot of fellas up here mentally and all that. So that's the play aspect of it because that ain't really a job. That's why they hire coaches. If players was really that smart to make those type of not to say they aren't smart, but if the majority of players was that headstrong, you wouldn't really need coaches. The coaches actually should vote. In this situation with the Bills, the coach made that call. You could have made that call. You made that call to say, "Oh, I game with Jared, Josh Allen, and I can try rush it on the 1 yard." And my thing is, I would always go for the safe bet because see, once you get a tie, it gives you a chance to win. You also going up against a team who only run the ball on you all game.
Um,
So it ain't like, oh, if I leave 40 seconds on the clock, who could go downfield and win? Tannehill, Derrick Henry just had to save them the whole game by scoring 3 touchdowns just so this could be a tie game. So my thing is,
they
in
really
that
couldn't stop
instance,
him.
that was a bonehead play to me because it's like, even like on the other side of the field, you had a Drew Brees, a Tom Brady, a Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers. I would have tied the game up 2-1. Tennessee might have not even go for it because they didn't want Tannehill to throw the interception. You would have gone into overtime and you would have had a good chance of winning,
So
unless
I just
Derrick Henry break a 80-yard
so now I
drive, what he
just
could do.
which he I think did that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he did have a 76-yard run on
he
them.
did do
so
So
that.
that's still
okay,
ain't no
so
guarantee, but at least
I
he
just
would have.
get, but I just have one question before we end the segment. If they did get a touchdown, would you have been sitting there saying that was a bonehead play?
But that wasn't a touchdown play. That was a first down play.
If they got the first down, because if they got that first down, then it would have been first and goal, I think. So if they
Yeah,
got that
first and
first
goal.
down,
And
if they
still
got
only
that
had like
first,
30 seconds to go.
so if they got that first down play, would you have been? Would you have said that it was a bonehead play? Granted, they were successful the whole game, almost the whole season with that.
Like I told you, the results matter. If you go there, you get that first down. You know what they can say? That's a gutsy smart call by the coach.
What would you have said?
Oh well, of course, gutsy smart. Well, like I say, it's the result that matter. I only worry about results. I get all that decision making and running on yours too. Get me the W. Then if you go down
I
and
but
score a touchdown and win by 4 points, you know what they can say? Oh, the Bills played a hell of a game. Despite they still can mention Derrick Henry,
see,
despite Derrick Henry killing.
that's
But
because an
it's the
analyst
result.
says it's a gutsy play. Don't mean that it wasn't a dumb play. It just means that it's a dumb play that worked out. That's all it really is. You don't have to really try to, like I say, revisionist history is a serious thing. We try to rethink everything. And even just sitting down, just here discussing this, every one of us has a plan before we go into something. Every one of us says, this is what we think
And
is
it's
a
based
smart
on
thing to do.
something, and it's based on
It's
it
based on
always
something.
based on
Ain't no
something.
one just going into nothing saying, wait, F it. Let's just do whatever.
And if
It's
I
a game
win,
winning drive. If I
If I
win, I
win, it's
win.
a
I
good
don't
play.
care.
If I lose, it's a bad play. I just
No,
hate
everybody,
that notion.
everyone have a plan based on something. You understand what I'm saying? So the intent does matter. You can't act like it don't matter. The intent does matter because we all have an intent. Now, the result will determine whether we win or whether we lose. But all of us
Exactly.
have a plan of what
But
we think is
that's
smart.
all that matters.
That's not true. That's
Your
not true.
plan doesn't matter, but if you
The
okay,
results.
let's look at Tampa Bay. Y'all has talked so much about everybody now. All of a sudden, oh, risk it, biscuit, risk it, biscuit, risk it, biscuit. You know why risk it, biscuit makes sense now? It's because you have a smart quarterback who, when you come and say, you know what Bruce Arians say, sometimes I let Tom Brady coach the offense. You know why?
Because
Because with your risk
consistently
it and
over
biscuit,
time,
you can over like he gets more leeway now to throw the deep ball and throw big ball. But you also know that Tom Brady have enough sense to check down and put it up. When you put a quarterback like Jameis Winston in the same risk it biscuit offense, like you can get exactly what you asked for: 30 touchdowns with 30 interceptions.
as again, you prove
So
for
it's
my
the
point.
result. It's still the same offense. It's still the same plan. Still the same game plan. You come in with the
It's not
same
the
type of
same plan.
mentality,
It's
and then
not the
you
same
still
plan.
come out with different results.
One plan involves
Because
Tom Brady, the next plan involves Jameis Winston. That's not the
yeah, but
same
what
plan.
separates Tom Brady from Jameis Winston? Results.
He makes more of those plays than Jameis Winston.
Exactly. The play is the result.
No, the plan is I put the ball. Okay, so it's the same plan. Let Russell Westbrook shoot 30 shots or let Steph Curry shoot 30 shots. Is that the
And
same
what's the
plan?
difference? Wouldn't the
I
difference
say
be
that's the
result?
same plan. Is that the same game plan?
Wouldn't the difference just be result?
Here's my point. If you have a Westbrook on one wing and you have Curry on one wing, and use the point guard, you kick it to who you can kick it to. You have to make a decision
Mm-hmm.
without
If
the
you have a
results
game
in
in a
your head.
short, if you have a game in a short, you have on one ring Kevin Durant. On the next one, you have Andre Robinson. And you say, for the game in a short, I give it to Andre Robinson. What people can tell you after the game? But that was a dumb thing to do. That
Even
was a
if
dumb plan.
Robinson hit it, let's say Robinson hit it and win the game.
That was a
If
dumb
Robinson
A
plan.
hit it,
bad
how much
decision.
times you see people go back and say that's dumb when you hit it?
People do say, what you mean?
You rarely say that
Yes,
because I have
You
now a
say that.
gesture saying I hit it. So why would I listen to you with your
Listen,
big
whether
plan
you hit it or
when I
not,
hit it?
you would still say, wait, dog, I thought that was gonna work out. Even if you only say that's a
Yes,
dumb plan, you can come
but
back
no
and
one
time and say,
cares
well,
what
I
you
thought that was gonna
think
work out.
after the result. Your plan
I
only
thought that was
makes
gonna work out.
sense in the planning process. The result was make the actual decision. You don't win
My
and
point
lose
is
off
this.
a plan.
My point is this. More often than not, if you choose good intent, more often than not, you're gonna get good results. More often than not, if you just say, we go whatever the result is, we don't care, you're not gonna get good results. More often than not.
I never said that. I agree with that.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
problem is you making it seem like oh it's the decision. The decision doesn't
but what we're
change
saying is there
the
has to be a predetermined logic into that goes into your decision making. It can't just be, let me just do this. If
I
it go in,
understand that.
then
But
it's
you
a good
saying
result.
that it doesn't matter the result because
I
it
never said
matters
that.
more of the intent. That's what you
I
all
say
two
my
saying.
thing is
I don't
No,
no.
care
I
about
said
the intent.
we never
I
said
care
that.
about the
Listen, you
result.
have I never said that. I said more often than not. I said this since we first started talking. I said more often than not, if you choose good intent, you're going to get good results. More often than not. That's what I said. More often than not, if you have a
That's not
good
what y'all
plan,
was saying at the
you can
beginning.
get good results. Man,
Y'all
listen, man,
was
just go watch the
saying
video.
it's more
You
about
can
the
watch the video over
intent
here.
than the result.
my point
Go
is
watch the video
Braylon
back.
said that
it's
you
about
trying to
I
switch it
didn't
now
say
because you
that.
know it don't make
No,
sense.
I
You
didn't. I
said
know
you
I
rather
never
live with
said
the
that.
intent than the
I
no,
result.
said more
that
often
didn't.
than not,
What did you say, Graylon?
good intent produces good results.
I'm saying sound logic is more important than the results. You can't analyze the decision
How is it
based off
more
the
important
results
than the result?
Hey, we
because
get
you
up.
have
Something
to
is
Let's
make
more
say
the
this for
important than the
Tuesday
result
pod.
because
because
only the result matters.
you have to make the
Let's say this for
decision
Tuesday pod.
Yes, I
before the result
understand that.
comes.
But you saying it's more important.
Yes, because you can't just say, okay, uh, DK got extra yards this time. That means it was a good play. So for every time he's in that situation, he's going to do that.
But you
No,
just proved my point right when you talk
there's
about
logic.
Kobe
There's
Bryant.
logic. Kobe
Right.
You
takes
said that
bad
he
shots.
makes horrible shots. But when you go into the Hall of Fame, what you think they can say? You can say,
Kobe is
oh, well,
known
he
for
had poor
making
logic. He had bad shot selection.
no.
But
They
he's
won't
still the
mention
greatest play, one of the greatest players of
You
all
have to play the
time
they
game. You have to
they
play the
won't
because
they
game.
won't
of the
mention
result of it.
they won't right. They won't mention the fact that he takes horrible shots, but he does take horrible shots. Of course,
Yes,
they can
but
say
they won't
everything's
mention it,
positive,
right? So what
but I
matters?
don't make it. I don't make them shots not horrible. Kobe
Yes, but they
Kobe
get
makes
the
bad
result
shots.
making it made him great. So
Yes, they did. But
the
that don't.
result,
We only talking about if the shot is bad or not. Just because Kobe made the shot, don't mean it ain't bad. Kobe
yeah, but
fadeaways with
what gets
people
you
on
to
him was
that point?
bad.
But what makes you
we
great?
already we already
Does the
since we
result
already
make you
established
great, or does the
that
intent make you
Kobe
great?
The
consistently
result
does it
makes
over
you great.
time. So
The result makes you
Exactly.
great.
So how
Yeah,
is the
that's what
intent more important if the result is what separates you from being great from
we
average?
for me, the only this discussion was the purpose of discussion was to determine how do you find out how do you label a bad shot or a bad decision from a good decision. Those
And I say
decisions
it's the
Kobe
result.
made, those decisions Kobe made were
Mhm.
bad decisions. He just hit
Yes,
them, and he
exactly.
became Kobe essentially became great for making bad shots.
For
The shot's
making
still
them.
bad, yeah.
Yes, but he made them.
But just because he make them, don't make them any
they ain't
less
bad for
bad.
him
They
though.
still bad,
They ain't bad for him.
but he make
I
them.
can't I can't I can't say they bad for him. It all depends upon the
But he
circumstances.
practices. So if you practice bad shots, to you, it's a bad
Hmm.
shot.
No,
But
if you practice
if
bad
Kobe
shots
said
and
I go in the gym and I
I
legit
practice shooting
practice
over
those
three
bad
people,
shots, just
no,
like how Steph practices
practice
30
deep
foot
shots.
shots
Yeah.
that people call bad shots when he first came in the league.
Hmm.
Steph was on the verge before they actually went on that 2014 2015 run. Steph was
Yeah.
on the verge of getting traded
Yeah.
because they was like, you
Oh,
can't win with a
because
guy
he's
taking
injury
these
prone.
bad shots.
But the thing is with Kobe, and especially given the teams that he's had, Kobe shooting fadeaway jumpers, triple team, was a better percentage shot, a high percentage shot than Derek Fisher shooting a wide open three.
Hold on now. You supposed
Yeah,
to say
Derek
Smush
Fisher
Parker.
is
You
no
can't say Derek Fisher.
Derek Fisher is
Derek Fisher
horrible.
can nail that 3 point shot.
But
Stop it.
What DK did,
It's a sick.
you had so many better options than what he chose to do.
Yeah,
That's what makes it a
that's
bad
retarded.
decision. Whether he made that or not, that would have been a bad decision because he had better options.
But
Kobe at the
in
time
his mind, he felt that he could go for a touchdown.
versus running out of bounds, a better, safer
Listen,
option.
Yeah,
Go
why?
point
But
go for a
you're
blank.
touchdown. Go for a touchdown and lose the game.
yeah, but you just talk about going for on a 1 yard and lose the game.
But I don't think that was a bad shot. What is a better option there?
So how come DK not going to the bounds
Because
uh,
that was
is a bad decision, but
what do you mean,
Josh Allen
Josh
going for
Allen,
it, not
who's
making it.
had a history of successful players. The reason I said that was a good decision because they've been successful with that, not because they just try something.
Yes, but we talking
They've been
about in that
successful with the
moment.
same quarterback sneak.
Was that a good decision in that
Yes,
moment?
that was a
He's been
Steph Curry
successful
three.
with that when okay, we turn one and we just need a first down. You've been successful with that when okay, you on the goal line, you just need a touchdown. You've been successful, but in that situation there, when you're down by 3 points and you have a chip in 15-yard field goal to tie the game. In
Don't
that
do the thing that you've been
situation
doing.
right there, where
Don't
you
don't
could
do
go
the
back against your whole, oh, I just need a first down here. You put in a whole pressure packed situation, and you can use the history of you just getting the first down on 3rd and 1, or you just going into the end zone on 4th and 1, and you can use that logic in that same situation there on a win or lose play. It makes sense if this is a first down play because if we don't get it, we punt. Or if we don't get the touchdown, we hand it off to the running back. You have other options other than that. But in that issue right there, where this is a win or lose game, win or lose play, I don't feel like that's decision making because if you don't get it, you lose. In them other situations that he was successful in, if he didn't get it, you punt the ball, you get the ball
right.
back, you got other instances.
Kobe 5 for 5 for fadeaways the whole game, and they down by one. They give him the ball.
Five
Don't
of five or
five
five.
for five,
On
100%,
fadeaways.
and they down by one. Game on the line. Don't give him the ball. Do a fadeaway because he's been successful, but they wasn't game on the line shots. This one's game on the line shots, but he's already hit 5 of these. Don't
Yeah,
give him
but
the ball.
this basketball, not football.
I'm just saying that has been one of their most successful
Hey,
plays, especially for fourth
let's
downs.
get to
So
let's
why
get
not do that again?
Kansas City game, man. What y'all dealing with? Let's get
Just
to the Kansas
that
City
just
game,
don't make
man.
sense. You give him
Okay,
the ball because he's
That
proven to make last game shots, not the 5 for 5 he made in the middle of the game. Kobe
so the
has
five of
proven himself to make the last game shots.
so
How much
five of
time
five. That five
have
of five
Josh Allen
don't.
been successful in last game 1 yard succession?
so y'all comparing apples and oranges. That ain't gonna work.
That's
Y'all
crazy.
comparing two different things.
Okay, yeah,
Let's
I
get
bring
to
the
Kansas
oranges.
City,
I
please.
bring the oranges. Kansas City and
Kansas City.
Titans,
Tennessee.
right?
That's the game of the week. That's the last game. This is going to be a 1 p.m. game as well. Who
I
y'all
think
got
it's
in
game
this
of the
game?
week, but obviously when
You
I
don't think
hear
it's
y'all
game of
just
the
pick
week?
bad game of weeks.
Listen,
But
you can have your chance to pick game of the week. So
this
let's
is
do it
this
this
is
one.
not
Kansas
gonna be a
City,
game of the week.
Tennessee.
Um,
You all got winning this one.
Shit,
I
it's a
got
tough one. It's a tough one.
yeah, that's a tough one. I think that's a tough one.
I think I got the Titans this week. I think,
You got the Titans.
yeah, showing that they could compete against top 10 teams. Wait, let me look at the injury report before I say that.
no man, make
Hold
you
on
pick.
now. So answer you pick for that Saints Seahawks game.
I pick Saints. Um, I think I got
Uh,
Kansas City with this one. I think they can find a way to limit Derrick Henry. The Titans have a
Ty-
few injuries to their
Tyreek Hill,
secondary.
Tyreek Hill questionable.
Um,
Julio Jones questionable.
yeah, I think the key could come down to whether Kansas City could limit Derrick Henry. I mean that's the key to any Titans for any Titans opponent. Julio Jones, like you say, questionable. Tyreek Hill is questionable. But I am going to go. Yeah, I'm still going to go with Kansas City. I
Kansas
think that
City.
some secondary injuries inside for the Titans. I think that could play a factor. And Mahomes hasn't had a problem recording his passing touchdowns this year. He had a few interceptions, uncharacteristic interceptions, but they look like they might have found something in the second half of that Washington game last week. So I'm going with them. I think they're riding on a little bit of a hype. I think they're figuring out some things. This could be a big win for them if they could get this one, because it's a very, very good Tennessee Titans team.
I don't see Kansas City beating the Titans, mostly because they haven't won against a top 10 defense yet. They lost to Baltimore, they lost to the Chargers, they lost to Buffalo, they won against Philly, they won against Washington. Um, okay, they beaten the teams they're supposed to beat, but Tennessee ain't one of them teams. I think I got Tennessee. Tennessee, on the other hand, and besides that loss to the Jets, I mean, which is incomprehensible. Um, th- they've been pretty good so far. I think I got Tennessee in this one. I don't think they have an answer for Derrick Henry.
You mean the loss to the Jets when I told them put the ball in there again, Rian. They decide because they have low fence. I think they decide that hey, let me let Tannehill go there and have a good game because we playing a trash team, and then you go there and do garbage, and then at the end you want to give Derrick Henry the ball when you down and he's a running back, so he can run out the clock, which don't make sense. But this game is going to be close because it's on a seesaw. Small things determines what happens here. Um, if Derrick Henry runs the ball a lot, surprisingly, even though Kansas City secondary is trash, their front four isn't that bad. Not enough to stop Derrick Henry, obviously, but they could game plan to slow Derrick Henry down and make. If you could get Derrick Henry not getting those big chunks of yard on first and second, and you give Tannehill long third downs to convert, you have a good chance of winning. Also on the other side, Mahomes is Mahomes, obviously. Tyreek Hill plays a big part if he's healthy or not. It's 11:30. They say unquestionable, and the game started 1. So if they didn't put out yet, more than likely he's playing. Um, but even with that, it's hard because once Kansas City scores once or twice and you behind, do you still continue to give Derrick Henry the ball? And I think that's what they're gonna do. I think Kansas City is gonna come out on fire and I think they're gonna go up a touchdown, maybe two, and then like they can be like, okay, let me see if you can still run this ball, which is gonna be very hard when you're down a touchdown or two. So I still want to go Tennessee. Boy, they in Tennessee. It all depends on Tyreek Hill is a big part of this. If no Tyreek Hill is there, they can't really take the top off that defense. Um, but like you say, Kansas City have been showing that they could beat these teams even with Tyreek Hill. So with that, I can go because I still expect Derrick Henry to have a big run. Because when your secondary weak, that means one Derrick Henry break that line, you're all in a tight. I game with Tennessee just because I believe that at some point, at some point, Tannehill has to kick in. At some point, you will realize that you're wearing Derrick Henry down, and as a head coach, you have to realize that in the playoffs, you will need Derrick Henry. You can't be wearing him down on game five, game six, game seven, and then expect the guy to perform in January after you done kill him for 2,000 yards probably, and
Yeah.
friggin' had to carry the load of your team. And then January you going into probably a cold city like Kansas City or like Buffalo, and then you expect this man to come and give you another 150, 200 yards when everybody in the whole NFL is going to game plan to take him out and attack his legs. That's what I don't like with the NFL. I mean, in a way, I don't want them getting no softer. But if you watch how they play Derrick Henry now, it's almost like what they do with Gronk when he was in New England. You don't even tackle him up top no more or try to bring him down because of the stiff arm and because of the upper body strength. Everybody attacks your knees, your ankles, your legs, which is a very dangerous play on a guy who was 6'5", 250. So, like I said, again with Tennessee, but going forward, they're going to need Tannehill, Julio, and Brown to step up and
Julio
start scoring
questionable this
through
game.
the air. Because, but if you can keep pounding the ball 40 times a game with a running back who everybody attacking his legs, you setting your team up for disaster late in the season. If one little tweak of ankle, one little swollen knee happen to Derrick Henry, Tennessee City season is finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely do need to add some diversity to their offense. I mean, especially you got weapons like AJ Brown and Julio. Like you gotta have a high powered offense. I mean, Derrick Henry is the best player on the team, but it can't be a situation where he completely carrying the offense week in and week out. You have to have huge games for you to have even chances of winning some games. So they have to diversify the offense, but like I said, I don't think that'll happen here. I think Kansas City finds a way to slow down Derrick Henry, and then that uh, completely starts their offense. And you have to keep pace with what Patrick Mahomes doing on that end. So Chiefs. So that's our picks. We also want to give a big shout out once again to Rev and Rev Trio for putting up with us, putting up with our foolishness. Uh,
Oh,
listen to our debates, listen to our picks. Don't forget, Rev Trio is the home of the NFL Sunday Ticket, the exclusive provider of the NFL Sunday Ticket. All your NFL Sunday coverage, hit up Rev Trio, get that NFL Sunday Ticket package. If you are a Rev Trio or Triple Play customer, that's no additional cost to the Sunday Ticket. So just hit them up. Every NFL Sunday game, if it ain't on ESPN, it ain't on NBC, you can find it right on Rev Trio. So big shout out to Kid Vamas, big shout out to Rev. Anything else before we sign off, gents?
um, yeah, like I say, I see we got big this week. Most of these middle week games is what separates the top of the league from the bottom of the league. So this week is a pivotal week. Um, this week we'll separate some of the division leaders, some of the top teams, and a lot of division games going on this week. So hopefully coming back on Tuesday, we could show the separation that week 7, 8, and 9 is gonna have on the NFL season, and hopefully our picks pan out based on what we expect. Because certain teams lose, it's hard. It's like that run the table type thing. You do have a team every year that runs the table, but which team will it be? So also shout out to my Cardinals. I picked y'all from the beginning when no one believed in y'all. Uh, Shout out my
Oh Lord,
Cardinals.
my goodness, what a set. Oh
These
Lord,
fellas, they like high name, big time, big names, and all type of crap. Cardinals, y'all holding it down. Shout out Kyler Murray, possible MVP once healthy. And shout out obviously Tom Brady in the box. I ain't even got to say nothing about the Patriots because we practicing this week, so
But y'all better win because you have a lot of talk.
we
yeah, yeah, yeah.
practicing this week,
Y'all,
so
y'all
ain't
gonna win,
nothing
man.
else.
Y'all
Mac
gonna win.
Jones, Mac Jones will have his
Hey,
highest
I
yards
threw it in that group
this
chat,
season.
so y'all gonna win.
I called it. Mac Jones will have his highest passing yards of the season in this game. Well, at least so far. He might have a better game later on, but this game, I feel like he's getting comfortable in the offense now to the point where he can let it loose this game.
Okay.
All right, let's see what happens. All right, so until next week, until Tuesday, actually, when we link up again. Experts, we out. So take it easy. Have a good football Sunday.